This is Valley News Live at 5.
They can cut the head off our statues, they can't cut the head off our faith.
The patron saint of lost items has lost its head. A St. Anthony statue outside of a Fargo Catholic church in South Fargo was decapitated over the weekend. As Valley News Team's J.C. Dodd reports, it's happened before for this parish.
When it's property or your personal belonging, when someone destroys it, it's a feeling of violation.
A familiar feeling for members of St. Anthony of Padua Catholic Church. Leaders say the statue has been around for at least 20 years.
It can be a little bit of a traumatic experience for a parish when you have vandalism like this.
Back in 2018, the church's Virgin Mary statue was vandalized.
Her head also was knocked off.
Fortunately, Longton says the parish was able to repair the concrete statue.
She's now standing happily inside of our church.
However, Braun says the St. Anthony statue may be trickier to repair since it's made of marble.
We are having some folks come in and remove it and take a look at it. We do have the severed part of the statue.
Longton says to see the vandalism on All Saints' Day,
it jars the heart. It will make you feel sad, but again, if we're thinking right and have the right attitude, we will ask ourselves to be able to forgive that person.
While he doesn't know how it happened, who is responsible, or how much repairs will cost, Braun wants to remind everyone.
The parish is more than just brick and mortar. The parish is more than just statues. The parish is the people.
In Fargo, J.C. Dodd, Valley News Live.
The church is asking for anyone in that area with cameras to review their footage for any video of the vandalism. A man charged with kidnapping a 6-year-old girl will spend the next 10 years in prison. Authorities say 52-year-old Robert Burr kidnapped the girl in the 900 block of Belmont Road this summer, telling her they were going to get some ice cream. The girl was later dropped off in the same alley that Burr picked her up in. Police say they found him based on the description that her friends gave them. Back in 2017, Burr was convicted of attempting to kidnap a woman who was rollerblading in East Grand Forks. New today at 5, a Minnesota man will spend nearly 19 years in prison for killing an elderly couple during a police chase. Otter Tail County deputies last October say they were trying to arrest Cody Freitag on outstanding felony warrants. They say that when they tried to capture him, he hit their squad car and sped off. When he failed to yield at a stop sign, he struck a Toyota Camry, killing 72-year-old Stephen Christensen and his 71-year-old wife, Diane. With Halloween and October both in the rearview mirror, we now reach November, which can be tough on us. Let's find out from our chief meteorologist what the first Monday night of the month will be like. Hutch?
Mike, good evening. Hello, everyone. It looks like a chilly one out there as we do have a few areas reporting some flakes. And this weekend, some of us got a taste of flakes as we closed out that old month of October. The first snow up in Rosa. Wow, that looked actually like, well, plenty enough to cover the roof and the grassy areas. Temperatures today, 30s for most, 40s for a few right here in the Red River Valley from Grafton and Grand Forks right down through Fargo and Wheaton. We saw low 40s. It's cool up by Lake of the Woods right now, 36 there, 40 in Grand Forks and 38 for Bismarck with that white line on Hutch's maps here, that freezing line. It's going to be a cold night, folks. Get ready for that. Here's the areas of some snow showers. Some moving through Red Lake Falls or towards you right now out of the Thief River area. We do have a little bit of light activity showing up in that Barnes County area, although not all of it is likely reaching the ground. So we do have those hit and miss snow showers that cannot be ruled out. In Fargo, I think we stay dry, minus just 1 or 2 flakes flying through the sky. Temperatures are on their way to the 20s. Mike, it looks like the coldest weather yet is just ahead of us. We'll have details on that, but it's going to warm up. I'll have details on a warm up here in a minute.
All right, that's what we needed to hear. Thanks.
You bet.
The West Fargo police officer who suffered a heart attack over the weekend while on duty has now been transferred to a care facility in Nebraska. Tim Brown was flown to the Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha to receive specialized care. Brown is still on a ventilator and heart bypass machine listed in critical condition. A GoFundMe has been set up to raise money for Officer Brown and his family. Donations can be made at Bell Bank to the West Fargo Police Association account in support of Brown. 5 years after his disappearance, police in Bemidji want to remind you to contact them if you have any information on Jeremy Jourdain. The 17-year-old left a Bemidji home on Halloween night in 2016. hasn't been heard or seen of since. If you have any information about Jeremy, contact police. The phone number is 218-333-9111. Lawyers are back again in court arguing the fate of Alfonso Rodriguez Jr., who was convicted of killing Drew Shadeen in late November of 2003. Prosecutors say that defense attorneys were wrong by claiming that the judge didn't go far enough in explaining why he threw out the sentence for Rodriguez. Judge Ralph Erickson in September ordered a new sentencing phase to be conducted, saying his defense team failed to consider key factors. Defense attorneys argue that the judge left out Rodriguez's intellectual disability as one of those factors. A declining number of employees at the state crime lab in Bismarck has limited what evidence they can be processing. North Dakota Attorney General Wayne Stenjum says 8 of 23 lab employees have left in the last 2 years because they've been offered higher salaries elsewhere, including one employee who left for a position in Georgia where the salary was $30,000 more. Actor Alec Baldwin spoke out for the first time about the deadly shooting on the set of his new movie. Investigators say a live bullet in a prop gun fired by Baldwin killed Helena Hutchins while filming the movie Rust. Even though Baldwin says he's not allowed to comment on the investigation, today he did talk about his close ties to Hutchins.
She was my friend. She was my friend. The day I arrived in Santa Fe to start shooting, I took her to dinner. Our incidental accidents on film sets from time to time, but nothing like this. This is a 1 in a trillion episode. It's a 1 in a trillion.
Last week, investigators said that the assistant director told them that he did not completely check the gun for live rounds before declaring it safe to use. Baldwin says he doubts the production will start up again and vocalize the need for change on movie sets. With prosecutors outside, the U.S. Supreme Court heard 2 challenges today to Texas's restrictive new abortion law. The cases revolve around whether the law can remain in effect, but they won't resolve the issue of constitutional right to an abortion. That could come in a separate case in early December. Alice Barr has the very latest.
High drama at the high court today as U.S. Supreme Court justices take up 2 challenges to a Texas law that has stopped nearly all abortions in the state. The law effectively bans abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy, before many women even know they're pregnant.
A 6-week ban on abortion is unconstitutional, and that it's having a devastating effect.
Because the Supreme Court has long held state officials cannot ban abortion that early, the Texas legislature handed enforcement over to private individuals, meaning anyone can sue abortion providers or anyone who helps.
This bill does something that hasn't been done like this in Texas before, which is to recognize that life is protected when the heartbeat is first detected.
Texas is urging the Supreme Court to rule it cannot be sued because none of its officials enforce the law. But the U.S. Justice Department and Texas abortion providers want the high court to block Texas judges and clerks from taking cases brought under the law. The Biden administration says Texas should not be allowed to nullify the constitutional right to an abortion. And attorneys for the plaintiffs argue the law could be used as a roadmap for states to subvert any Supreme Court precedent. Conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh signaled concern on that front.
Second Amendment rights, free exercise of religion rights, free speech rights could be targeted.
Whatever the court decides could be a key indicator for upcoming cases that may determine the future of reproductive rights in this country.
And in 1 month, the Supreme Court will hear a case that more directly addresses whether abortion should remain a constitutional right. It's a challenge to a Mississippi law banning abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. 31 Sanford employees in the Fargo region have left the company because of Sanford's vaccine mandate. Today was the deadline for employees to be vaccinated. Sanford said those who didn't start their vaccine series by today or have not been granted an exemption will be suspended up to 60 days without pay. It also said that those who still don't comply with the mandate within 60 days will be considered to have voluntarily resigned from their employment. Meanwhile, 49 employees have been dismissed from Essentia for the same reason. Today was also Essentia's deadline for its workers to get that shot. The company says that 99% of its workforce is vaccinated or has applied for an exemption. It also said that until the exemption requests are processed, they'll be unable to tell how it'll fully impact their staffing situation. North Dakota's Transportation Department is studying the possibility of longer trucks on state roads. It was last spring that state lawmakers considered legislation dealing with road trains or extra-long semi-trailers meant to save on fuel costs and other expenses associated with moving goods. But the idea raised some safety concerns, so lawmakers decided to pass a bill to study the matter. Too much food is being thrown away. Later on, how one company is turning old bread into booze.
And we close the pages on the month of October. The average temperature coming in about 5.5 degrees above average as we close out a pretty warm fall and summer. Here's a look at Grand Forks, 49.4 that average temperature with some much needed moisture in both locations. Your forecast for the first part of our start to November, cold. Details next.